Good morning, Eileen. Good morning, Randy. Randy out in the shed today?
That was my living room. I just didn't get around to cleaning up this weekend.
It's all right, dude. He'll get it taken care of.
You know, I'm getting ready for a showing, so I'll pick up.
Okay. Good God, isn't that how it usually goes?
I'll
I
minimize
just,
a little bit.
I didn't send out the text this morning.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Got to do this real quick. Got to do this real quick. Good morning, Larry.
Morning.
How are you today, sir?
Good. Walk through this morning, signing tomorrow.
Nice. So sorry. What the hell? Let me just go to what I want to do. Send the broadcast now. Send broadcast. All right. Good morning, Angela. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oof. I'm better now that Dick Nichols is on the call.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, geez.
And who do we have today? He's a chef of some sort. I see.
Chef Dick Nichols. It's the Dick Nichols Boyardee. The D stands for Dick Nichols.
You like the virtual office?
I do. He created a virtual office with a refrigerator and TV. Oh God, too much time on your hands. If you guys saw Dick's actual office, it's quite impressive. Well, let's start off today. I want to hear some wins. It's more than halfway through the week. We've been grinding on some stuff. I want to know your wins.
Well, I'll start with that. The walkthrough that we're doing this morning, the seller had the property in a deal. That deal fell through, and for financing reasons. So our backup offer went into place. Cash offer, like 8 days between accepted offer and closing, and the seller had provided 4 different invoices of work: electrical, plumbing, air conditioning, so on and so on, that it had been done. So with confidence, I felt, all right, this is all in place, everything's working. AC, when we went to look at the property, was running well, so on and so forth. Called in the George's AC for the 210 home warranty, certification,
Mm-hmm.
which then will allow the full AC coverage to take place with the home warranty. AC unit failed, and we're 4 days from closing. And so I went back to the seller and said, look, you with my confidence in your vendor that this system would be, certified because of the work that had been done, you have a problem. And said, something needs to happen here. Within 3 hours, the original AC work guy was on site. I provided the paperwork that George's AC had said what needed to be done in order to bring this unit to certification. They did the work.
Nice.
And as of this morning, we're going to go check it, and we're due to sign tomorrow. So a whole problem with a non-certifiable AC system has been rectified by the seller without question.
That is awesome. That's a win.
But taking that step,
Right.
I could have, instead of just relying on the invoice that was given to me by the seller from his vendor that the AC was okay, we went ahead and did the certification to put in place the 210 warranty, and that opened and discovered this whole problem.
That's a good testimony for Larry the house guy. You should use it as a testimony.
Get it on video.
Yeah.
Right.
Video
I'll do
test.
the video for you. I got a little pony and everything else.
There you go. Well, good morning, everyone else. We got some late bloomers to the call. Mara, thank you for joining us. Dory, thank you for joining us. Stephanie, newly licensed. Welcome to the team. You excited?
I am. Thank you. I am Big Dan and everybody else. High five. You know the feeling when you're like, oh my gosh, I finally passed my test.
Jason will be there next week.
I can't really hear you guys. I don't know. It's coming from my phone. Is it quiet for everyone else or no?
No, I think where's your volume? Is your volume all the way up on the phone?
Okay.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, okay.
Here, we're talking back at you. Yeah, just up the volume on your phone and see if that helps. Is that any better? Oh, now you're muted again.
You muted yourself. It's okay, guys. Zoom is a learning environment. We got to learn how to do it. So 2 plugs this morning before we start jumping into scripts. 1, Bold starts next week, and 2, Ignite starts next week. If you're not in one of them, you need to be. I just said get busy, get productive. It's going to help you out. If you don't feel like it's worth your time, let's discuss it. Oh.
Where do I sign up for Bold at? Online?
BoldPivot.com. Go to it and sign up for it. Good stuff. It'll be good stuff. Awesome, guys. Let's jump into it. What kind of situations have you ran into so far this week that we can discuss in script room? We got some new players on the field today, so let's see what we can bring out. Okay, let's make it a good one. Dead silence. It's great. I can script around dead silence. It's called taking a nap.
Just any topic in general?
Is there anything you need help with? Killing me, guys. Do I need to just have all the issues?
Yeah, pretty much. Just
If you're not having difficult situations, you're not busy enough. Go out there and script. Go out there and make some phone calls. Come on now.
I have a question.
I have an answer.
What I met this lady. She works at Circle K, and we had a conversation about real estate. She said she was a few months out from having any idea how it worked or what to do. So I get this email from her last week, and I said, you need to get qualified from a lender. And she said, that's great because my lease is going to run out. I said, well, the first step is to see what you can afford and if you can qualify right now. Don't get ahead of the game, basically. Like, I don't want to under-deliver. So, but I'm having trouble getting her to talk to the lender. And I don't know if she's just afraid. So how can I nudge her?
Easy. Scott, I'm going to allow you to be the client because you know the situation. So you're going to be the one that's resistant to talking to a lender because you're not quite ready. Who wants to be the agent?
I'll be the agent.
Randy, let's go with it. Ring, ring.
What, how are you starting this? What are you trying to do? I'm calling you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now we're emailing, so let's see where that goes. So let's say you, as the agent, open up an email, says, my lease is, okay, I'm telling you, my lease is going to expire soon. I think that's 2 or 3 months. And I really want to do this for my kids. And you told me that, with interest rates this low, a lot of people can get in a home where they previously were renting. So what do I do?
All right. I've actually had this situation quite a few times, and I did lending for a short while. And it's pretty interesting. The consumer thinks there's a lot involved in talking to the lender. So in this situation, I mean, yeah, you're all email and such, but my first goal would have been to try and sit face to face and do this buyer consultation and explain A to Z, not just go straight to lending, but talk about that and the whole process. And like you said, you have to do that first. But anyway, ring, ring. Dan, pick up the phone.
It's me. Yeah.
That's your client.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing? This is Randy Costello. Just calling back to say hi and see how things are going with you.
Good. Thanks. How are you?
Good. Listen, hey, great. I sent you an email the other day. You said you're very interested about seeing if you could be a homeowner. And I sent you some information about lending, but I've noticed that you haven't spoke to anybody yet. Can I ask you what's the hesitation you may have about talking to a lender?
Oh, I don't know how the whole thing works. It's just so confusing and such a big deal.
No, I fully understand that. It's very confusing to a lot of people. And that's where I like to kind of help you out. Do you realize that it doesn't cost anything to talk to a lender?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they don't charge you a dime. Most people don't know that. So talking to a lender doesn't cost you anything and there's no obligation. The best thing to do is to talk to a lender to find out what your financial situation is and how much home you can afford. They'll go through this entire process with you and they don't charge you a dime. And that's usually where most people stop when it comes to finding a home or wanting to buy a home, is because they're scared to talk to a lender. So is that something that's been on your mind? Is that you feel you're going to be committed or it's going to cost you money right up front to even start the process?
I don't know how the whole thing works, so I'm just afraid to go do it. It seems like a daunting idea.
Yeah, it definitely is, because it gets a little bit personal, and that's usually where people get nervous. They have to open up their bank records, talk about their income, their debts. But what you need to understand, just like I have a fiduciary duty to you as a client, they also have the same duty. Everything is private. It's secret, basically. They cannot disclose this information to anybody else. Consider it like talking to a financial doctor. You tell them everything about yourself.
Oh, I like that one.
They'll come up with the best plan for you, whether it's going to be this month or maybe next year. At least they can tell you where you are and where you need to be a homeowner. So can I send you this name and number to a great lender that I've worked with many times and have him reach out to you and set a time to talk with you about this?
Sure.
Great. Would today work best or tomorrow afternoon?
I have to work this weekend, maybe Monday.
Okay. I'll send you his name and number. I'm also going to give him your name and number, and I'll actually have him reach out to you on Monday morning. Is that okay?
That sounds great. Thank you.
Perfect. Have a great day. We'll talk to you then.
Thanks, you too.
Anyway.
I like the part about not costing you anything. First of all, that was good. And the second part I liked was financial doctor.
Yeah,
that's good.
Those are two little tips that I picked up right now that I definitely will use.
That's what I found in lending when I would talk to people, and I actually talked to some loan officers I used to work with, and I came up with this idea to them, and they're like, people really think that, and now on this side, I have the same situation. People will hold up, and the minute you start to tell them that they're going to help you come up with a plan, a game plan, whether it's for now or next year. If they tell you, hey, we're not ready till next year, I don't want to start that process till next year, I will tell to them, hey, it's free. They're going to give you a roadmap on how to get to be a homeowner, whether you have to open up some credit, close some credit, pay some debt off, where you need to be, and it doesn't cost anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how I work it, because it's usually they think it's going to cost them something. The minute they talk to someone, they have to buy a house next weekend, or they're going to have to come up with $300 for someone to analyze all their financial records. So
Great. Thank you, Randy.
They're also usually concerned about a hit to their credit score. And so I asked a finance person recently, they said as long as they're getting pulled within about 30 days, so even if they went to more than one, does that sound right, Randy, since you were in lending?
yeah, I think it goes up more to about 45 or 60. It's kind of like the same with car industry. You know, you can go to Jim Click, Homes Tuttle, right down the street all on the same weekend. All 5 companies will put your hit credit, but you only get hit the one time. That's something else you're right. I will talk about, because they're afraid, well, I've already talked to my lender or my bank. So they think they already took a hit. Now if they talk to someone else, they take another hit. So I talk about fair credit and all that, where no, they can't do that anymore. And the hit only lasts for maybe 90 days. And I've tried to ask this question to so many people, how many points is the hit? I've heard numbers from 4 to 8 to 10. So, I mean, it's not big. And usually after that time frame, it just disappears and your numbers come right back up. Usually the hit is not enough to change anyone's loan qualifications. So
Yeah, the other thing I've heard them use recently is what they call a soft credit pull versus a full blown. So I think that in the pre-qual they go soft to get a number, And then if the file moves forward, they're going to, pull again to see what the real number is. I've just heard this, something about a soft hit, but you're really onto it. What I remember from when I worked in the car business, and Dan, I think you could obviously address this as well. I heard it was a period of about 21 days that you had to shop various people, and as long as it was within the same financial bucket, car, house, furniture store, that you're going to get payments or whatever, as long as you're shopping the same vendor.
It actually
line.
only does 3. It doesn't have any kind of, it's not consumer credit. So revolving like furniture, it's student loans, housing, automobiles. That you have that window of grace where they know you're shopping for rates, and it'll consolidate into a single inquiry. It's going to show up as multiple line items, and it's going to have an initial hit on the credit. After a couple of days, it'll recycle itself and then actually only impact one. I will let you guys know there is no such thing as a soft pull.
Okay.
If they're dinging the credit to find out what the actual score is, it's a hard hit, period. That's the only way to have an inquiry, is to have it official. Otherwise, what they're doing is, and you've heard the term soft pull, is they're using ghost information. The same information like Credit Karma uses, which is the best guess based on the information that's out there in the world right now. And it's just scrubbing based on the last time your credit was pulled, the typical information that's released from the financial institutions, and a best guess on where your payments and portfolios are now. That's how they're able to pull that information together. It's the same thing as a Credit Karma hit. Credit Karma just pulls the best guess because of the ghost information that's still out in the marketplace. It's kind of not public knowledge, but not public knowledge. So, okay, Larry's right. They do that, and they do that initially to get some information to help move the process along. And once we get to a point where they need to have solidified numbers, then it's an actual credit inquiry.
Good stuff.
One of the biggest misconceptions out there is it was a soft pull. Why did my credit go down? Well, there's no such thing.
I think you're right in a lot of senses, Dan. I think the soft pull versus a regular pull is they only pull one of the 3 credit bureaus. And I guess that
any hit to any bureau is a, there is no, oh, we're just looking. No, it's an inquiry. So
you can't really shop lender around?
No, you absolutely can. That's the whole point. If you're shopping lenders, and let's say that you start and talk to a lending professional, I like the term lending professional or lending partner versus just lender. It gives them more credibility. So start using, there's your scripting on that. If you talk to a lending professional, they have, a window of time, like Larry said, 21 days to 30 days. No one knows the exact amount. I'm sure that we can research it, but it's a window of time within a short congruency that if they're shopping multiple lenders to get the best rate, then they're going to see multiple inquiries on their credit. And after it resets, and this is a couple of days to a couple of weeks, depending on where they're at in the cycle, all those inquiries are going to reduce down to a single hit. It's just going to be different line items. They're going to be on the credit as different inquiries, but they're only going to affect the credit as if it were one hit, because the Consumer Credit Board knows that people are out there looking for the best rate. And we're getting to a point now where they can share credit.
Yeah, you have the right to shop without being multiple dings.
Right.
To like, because you're a consumer, you're trying to get the best rate. So they put that in place years ago. But again, there's never a written, here's exactly how this works.
So what is the timeline? Like, is there a specific period of time that you can shop around?
We said multiple times right now saying no one knows exactly what it is, but it's between 21 and 30 days. I know that you're interested because you're in the middle of doing that.
Yes, sir.
But make sure, and that's the thing, is if you're doing it for yourself or you're doing it for a client, it's ideal to have them do that and tell them. You don't want to do it, talk to a lender now and then a month from now and then 2 months from now. This is something they need to have a conversation with the lending professional up front to understand the steps involved in getting them where they need to go. If they're concerned about it, and this is a great line for you guys to write down, Mr. Buyer, Mrs. Buyer, if you're concerned about your ability to qualify for a loan, I highly recommend that you have a conversation with one of my lending professionals that are licensed to answer those type of questions. And then the lender can help you navigate that course. Like Scott's situation, I would ask the question, What concerns you about speaking to a lending professional? What concerns you about talking to my lending partner? Who hasn't had a fear of qualifying?
Well,
Oh, everybody.
Right? And that's a fear it's the embarrassment factor people are trying to avoid. So how do we get past it? We isolate the objection, right? Is there anything other than talking to a lending professional that's stopping you from moving forward? Then we move on and then we ask, okay, what is it about this?
get back to motivation.
Yes.
You know, just one other thing I'll tell you about lenders, since I was one for 3.5 years. And I've told this story to a couple of clients who were nervous about, starting the process. And in that whole conversation about, there's no cost, that type of thing, I give them a little bit more of a real behind the scenes things by saying, what the lender's going to do is have your information in a file. You are a potential client. And whether you can do something with the lender, first of all, they're going to educate you on what's available now. And if there are some ways to help you with your credit, they'll be able to actually coach you on that. But you'll exist with that lender as a file that whether you in 2 weeks do something or 2 months do something or 9 months from now do something, that file's still going to be there. They're going to have your information. And if you're working on changing or building some credit or making some adjustments or paying down balances based on what they recommend in order to get you to qualify, you're still not paying them anything until they actually produce a loan for you. But you still are a client to them, and your file exists with them, ready to service you when you are ready to move forward.
That's part of what I'll say too, is just like me, they don't get paid until the last page is signed and the deal's done. They're working for free the entire time. I mean, they're working hard, and that's what they do.
Cool.
I have a question.
Yep.
Larry, if because this is what somebody like my dad has done, but I don't even know if this is right. So pretend like I didn't say that. But if I called you and you were the lender and I just said, and I was just asking about interest rates, with you having no other information about myself, are you just say you can, maybe that's not this conversation, but I don't know. 'Cause it seems like, he's talking about refinancing and he's like, oh, I called this place and this place and this place. And I'm like, oh, he doesn't have any fear of that at all. And it doesn't even seem like he's they have a file on him. It's just kind of what interest rate your banking organization can do.
Interest rates are based on your information, your financial position, your, what your credit scores are, what product you want to do.
Yeah. The trigger term is creditworthiness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the lender is going to say, in general, today's rates are running 3.25%. However, depending on what type of loan you need, what product we need to use, and what your financial position is, that all affects where that interest rate finally ends up. But we won't know where that is. I can't give you what your interest rate would be until we have all of that information and can have someone take a look at it.
Okay.
And that's what the pre-qualifying process is all about.
Okay.
Great question, Scott. Look what you did. You started some conversation. This is how it works. Everyone has these situations. We all learn from them.
It feels like this after listening to the conversation, it feels like this is way more out there than maybe we talk about.
Yeah, I want everyone to listen carefully on this. Don't think that your situation is isolated. Don't think that it's so obscure that no one else is handling it. You don't know how much conversation can be started around a simple resistance, a question, a topic, an opportunity, an objection you've heard. Because if you look around, if you have it on your computer, look around in the gallery and you look at all the faces in here, the amount of head shaking, eye openings and going, oh yeah, actually you can see when they're triggering something. You're not the only one dealing with this situation. So when I ask, what situations do you have? Don't be afraid to bring them up. As simple as, I got somebody that's, they said they're interested, but they don't want to talk to a lender yet. How do I get past that? It seems so infantile, right? It's a very juvenile question. But the great thing is those who are experts won't ask those questions because they feel like they should know the answers. I want you guys to all come from a frame of mind like you don't know what the heck you're talking about and ask those questions, because if there's a shadow of doubt, let's shine some light. Let's get it blown in micro process so we can get everything leveled out.
Well,
It's
I'm
gonna
armed.
help you out.
I have conversations now that I can have for the next week with her. So that's awesome.
Bring them up. That's the thing, is it'll help people. I have a seller that was a licensed agent for Keller Williams at one point. I say the term friend loosely. He's a friend of mine. I used to work with him at Raytheon. Selling his house. It's been the longest ordeal in my life. And we finally got documents yesterday and went to close. He calls me up and says, Dan, we got some issues. Fix it. Or it was a text message. I'm not paying they got me paying the commission. So first of all, I should not owe HOA dues. I don't believe that I agreed to pay the warranty. That's $500. So I did not agree to pay the seller's agent's commission of $570, $57.60. So I call him up. I was like, John, I'm the seller's agent. You agreed to pay the entire commission of the deal. He's like, I'm not paying the other sides. You're not, John. You're paying me. I'm sharing half of it with them. So you never know. You never know the experience of somebody. When they say I'm an agent or I've done this before or like that, just like in-house, you never know the experiences. You don't know what's going on with it. So you take the time to push it out there and say, hey guys, this is what I'm dealing with. And then we script around it because you pick up some word tracks. So are we going to say lender or are we going to say something different?
Lending professional.
I like that. Lending professional. Because then you can play into their licensing. Because
You shared lending partner recently because you shared that one.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. I like lending partner as well.
Lending partners.
Yeah, when I say lending partner, it's the I don't know the exact book. I'm going to find it. It's one of the laws of not persuasion. It might be, but one of the laws is that you can pass on trust. It's implied trust because they're one of my professional partners. You can intrinsically trust them because I trust them. You trust me, I trust them, therefore you trust them.
Dan, you also talked about texting them like right that minute each other's information. I mean, if they're really reticent, can you get them on the phone together on a conference call and introduce them and then get off or something? I don't,
I've done that. Yeah, I've done that. Here, let me get
whatever
here.
it takes to get them on the phone.
Yeah, I sat down and called the lender from my phone on speakerphone. Hey, Tom, this is my client, Cindy. She's, hasn't been through the process before. She's brand new at this, but I'm introducing you to her. And then after that, so get them together then in that conversation afterwards. But the comfort you can give your client by making the call, introducing to a lender, and then now the person's heard a voice, they've got a name, they know that the other person understands the situation a little bit better. It's a simple move, takes 1 minute, but you instill that confidence in your client that this is someone worth talking to.
Right. And our lender partners are so much more willing to reach out and call than the client is sometimes. So that can be
Always.
a good way to get that.
Lenders are like real estate agents. Get on the phone, call people. Call your clients. Who do they know?
Jason posted a little note about a minute, 2 minutes ago, suggesting that it's always better to do a telephone call as opposed to an email when you're talking about this, because it gives you an opportunity of getting a feeling for the emotion that this person's going through. A two-way telephone call is much better than a one-way back and forth, texting or say email. Good job, Jason. I saw that.
Thanks, Dick.
Awesome, guys. Well, great conversations today. What else can I help you with last minute that you have me before I kick you out of here and go do some lead gen?
I added you to dot loop on my new deal, Dan. Check it out, please.
I saw that. I will check it out. I approved the loop this morning to pop into my feed, one of the many. So I love it. I love it. I love it. Keep eating in loops, guys.
Well, loops and command.
Yeah. So I want this. I challenge you all, and this is what, Friday, Saturday it changes. So yeah, Saturday it changes. I challenge you all to, if you've got a deal working, get in there and put it in DocuSign and put it in Command and get it started so you can understand, and then do a hard stop on .loop if you can. If you do not have deals working and closing through .loop currently, and if anything that starts up on the 1st of the month, then I would challenge you to just jump in full tilt into Command. Pull your hair out, struggle through it, get pissed off, call me mad, call Heather and Jesse and Larry and be like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. This is stupid, and help them work you through it. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this isn't that bad. It's pretty easy. Because we are creatures of habit. We hate change.
Yeah. Yeah, I said, you've learned .loop, remember? It was kind of crazy. It took a while. Command is .loop on steroids. And also, able to work from your CRM and just move everything over. You don't have to re-enter everything once it's in Command. Start by putting in the contact that your person is your potential buyer and build it from there.
Build it and they will come, my friends. Awesome. I asked this in my PC group chat this morning, and I will share it with you. What good, powerful questions are you going to ask today? The first one that was raised to me was, what is my one thing? Yeah, Mara, she did the same thing I did. I like that. That's good stuff. So ask yourself this. What is your one thing? What is the powerful question you're going to ask today? And if you don't have a question, here it is. What do I need to do today to find a piece of business? Okay. Awesome, guys. Happy Thursday. Go out there and do something great. We'll talk again tomorrow.
Thanks, Dan.